I need to. Hello and welcome to the Fast Tracking Scotland Summit 2020 session of the Power of Peer Support. Today we have with us Colin Stewart and Julie Ringsell. We're waiting on a couple more people to join us and hopefully they'll be with us soon. I'm just going to start with a little bit of housekeeping. Please submit any questions through the question and answer function. This just means that I can keep track of the questions that you're asking and hopefully get you some answers at the end. Any other chat that you want to have where it's sharing email addresses or any links, you can do that in the chat function, and that just means that they're not getting mixed in with the questions. Do be aware that you need to be comfortable using your name, and if you are not, please feel free to change it. You can see how to do that at the bottom of the screen. Also, as we are on Zoom, people tend to be in their homes or maybe in busier spaces, so you might get interruptions from dogs, cats, other noises, so please just bear with us. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say thank you to our sponsors that have made the Fast Track Scotland Summit possible, but they have not endorsed, supported or paid speakers, nor have they influenced the content of any of the sessions. So I will introduce myself. I am Heather Cumberland, the Community Engagement Lead for HIV Scotland. And all I'm really going to say on peer support is it does help people in a number of ways. It helps people to realise maybe that they're not alone or address concerns that they may have. Lived experience is rarely found. Lived experience is better than any other that is found elsewhere. I'm going to pass over to Julie Ringsell now to tell you a little bit about Peer Support Scotland.
Good afternoon. My name's Julie Ringsell. I'm one of the 3 Living Well specialists with Terence Higgins Trust Project Peer Support Scotland. Thank you very much for inviting me along today. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. For the past 3 years, we've provided emotional and practical support for people living with HIV and or hepatitis C. Our holistic approach has emphasised the value of helping people to help themselves to help others. Our approach is people-led, strength-based and connected. And the project evolves in close consultation with our peers and continues to develop and change as new people with new ideas come on board, empowering them to identify their opportunities for personal growth. Working with the dedicated, sorry, next slide. So, working with a dedicated team of Living Well specialists, peers are invited to pick and mix from a diverse menu of workshops and activities, which include confidence building, stress management, CV writing, public speaking, peer-to-peer welfare rights, health walks, basic life support, introduction to languages, including French, Spanish, Thai, and BSL. We've had some mindfulness, painting, creative writing, honing their stories, and nutrition and living well. These are all designed to enhance an individual's skill and make them more resilient in the face of life's challenges. Our peer mentors are fully trained and closely supported to facilitate group workshops, and they also provide one-to-one assistance. They're helping fellow peers with advice around welfare rights, tackling discrimination, and a host of other issues. Next slide, please. So, what is the power of peer, and what does it mean to our peers? It's a person-centred approach that enables individuals to make informed choices. This is, in turn, increases their self-confidence and health and well-being, which cascades down throughout the attending group. These quotes on the screen are something I think encapsulates the power of what the power of peers. And the next few slides, our peers have told us what Peer Support Scotland mean to them. Next slide, please. So Peer Support Scotland, we bring together people with shared experience to support each other. Our peers tell us Taking part in peer support meetings and meeting new people, sharing it with others is important. Sharing and being in the company of people who are in the same boat as me, again, really important. And meeting people, sharing experiences, coming together with my fellow positive family. This first picture is the group as they came together to design our logo, which is in the bottom right-hand corner there. So it was, again, all the peers decided how that was going to look. Next slide, please. At Peer Support Scotland, we provide a safe space where they feel accepted and understood, and our peers told us sharing and connecting with others in a unique and literature-based writing workshop was fantastic. Learning about barriers and that stop us from effective listening and understanding. Asked by NHST side to share their thoughts on their HIV status and World AIDS Day last year in 2019, this poem was a collaborative effort from the Tayside support group. A graffiti billboard was designed by our local artist, Paco Graf, and is a permanent feature down by the V&A at the Dundee's Lesser Gardens. And I'll just read the poem to you. Revolve. Red ribbons representing our evolving relationship with a virus that does not define us. Opportunities unfolding, loved ones and lovers stand by us, victorious, everything positive. It's a permanent reminder that of HIV and the status, and it has the whole stigma and U equals U. It's a fantastic piece of artwork if you ever get to Dundee to have a look at that. Next slide, please. At Peer Support, we treat everyone's experience as being equal and important, and our service users tell us stories about other participants' journeys and the camaraderie and honesty. Loved all the 3 workshops that shared in our own unique journeys, our honesty and the peak and trough. This particular pictures was at lunchtime. The group pulled together between the 2 sessions, and they designed to bring the lunch together. So it's another bit of social interaction that we have on the day. Next slide, please. Back one, possibly. Sorry, could you go back to Heather? Sorry. That's it. So peer support involves both giving and receiving of support, and peers tell us the interaction with others and being able to share is incredibly important. The freedom of the group and to share openly with each other. This is a photograph of another collaboration with NHST side. The peers did a World AIDS Day screen printing workshop last year at Dundee Contemporary Arts Centre. So as you can see, lots of different things and activities that go on. Next slide, please. And we always consult with our peers. And everything involves and everything is led by them. So we did do at the end of year 2, we harnessed all the newly learned skills, the strengths, the personal growth, and challenged peers to design and deliver their own evaluation of the project. The peers led and they used monitoring and evaluation, data collecting from groups and workshops, peer-to-peer interviews using video technology, and online surveys to reach people who'd access services, including those who not engaged. They produced an absolutely fantastic document and a series of documents, to be honest, and we were rated very highly from the peers. And this is the lovely Billy that you'll see speaking very, very shortly. Next slide, please. So we currently work in production in partnership and collaboration with a huge variety of organisations and charities, along with existing groups, including patient forums, recovery communities, and involvement networks. We have projects connecting resources and peers across Scotland, utilising digital opportunities. For example, the Connect in Scotland, we've delivered, I think, around about 90 devices to people living that are socially isolated and digitally isolated. We also have an up-and-coming collaboration with Waverley Care to provide a series of workshops on digital inclusion. Next slide, please. The last one. So Peer Support Scotland, we're here to provide support and development for anyone living with HIV or hepatitis C, and we're looking to develop and involve this project. We welcome opportunities to engage with new clients and keen to work in partnership with other organisations and seek new ideas to improve the service. There's a lot to look forward to in 2021, including a new women's group starting in January, great sessions planned around mental health and wellbeing. If you want to know more, please just feel to contact either myself, Martin or Callum or the lovely Billy. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Julie. That was really good to hear. I am now just going to hand over to Colin Stewart, who is going to be talking to you about running a peer support service. Ready to go, Colin?
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks very much. A bit of background about myself first. I was diagnosed HIV positive back in April 1996 and realised after diagnosis that I had contracted the virus 9 years prior. So next year I will be celebrating 25 years of being HIV positive. I have seen a lot of changes over those years in relation to HIV, the treatment, the various types of drugs available, the attitudes towards HIV, not losing friends every week at the hands of the virus. When I was diagnosed, I had a CD4 of only 30, and I was told I could have 2 to 3 years to live, but it could be over in 2 to 3 months. At the time, the only medication was AZT, but by the end of the year, antiretrovirals had become available, like ritonavir, saquinavir. I was oh, sorry, next slide, please. Muffling away for the slide. At the time, the only medication available was AZT, but I was taking 186 tablets a week. You need to go back a slide, that's gone too far. Oh, okay. There's a slide missing there. Okay, don't worry. The clinic I attended, which was at a hospital in London, they only offered group sessions for support. That was the last thing I wanted at the time, to sit with a group of strangers and have to talk about my feelings and what I was going through. I wanted to speak to an individual in the same position as me. Although they didn't offer it, they said they would see what they could do. It turned out that there was another person diagnosed on the same day as me with a similar CD4 result and asking for the same thing. They put us in touch and it helped us so much. We became best friends and are still in touch today. We supported each other through various illnesses, operations, changes of medication, etc. It was a great strength to have someone else HIV positive to talk to. So when I moved back to Aberdeen 8 years ago, I hardly knew anyone as I had been living in London for 26 years. So I went along to a meeting at Gay Men's Health where I met a few people who were also living with HIV. Unfortunately, in 2016, Gay Men's Health lost its funding and had to close, so we lost the support that we had. A few months later, we saw a flyer from HIV Scotland wanting to set up local forums around the country for people living with HIV. So a few of us from GMH group went along to the meeting with HIV Scotland and NHS Grampian, and this is where Our Positive Voice began. In setting up Our Positive Voice from 2017, we all had a common bond as individuals and realised without thinking about it, we had been providing each other with peer support. We realised how hard it is if you don't have someone else to talk to, if you don't know another HIV positive person and be able to have that conversations. We wanted to make a difference to others, and also we all recognised there was a gap where when someone was diagnosed, there was no way of knowing anyone else living with HIV or being able to speak about it firsthand to someone living with the virus. Clinicians and health advisors are great, and we were very lucky in Aberdeen and Grampian for that. And we would not have been able to achieve the good work that we have done over the last 3 years if it wasn't for the support we have received from NHS Grampian. However, the missing link for a lot of us was in that lived experience, hence why we felt the need to set up a peer support service. This is the wrong slides. This is the slides from my previous event. I'll just carry on. We did some research and found out about Project 100 training from Positively UK and managed to secure the training for us in April 2018. It was difficult organising the training. It was a 3-day course, which meant we had to do it on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Of course, this affected people's work for the training to go ahead. They required it to be a group of around 12 people, and they wanted us to travel down to the central block, which was impossible for us as we had no funding of our own. We didn't have 12 members in our Positive Voice, but we knew of a group in Dundee who also wanted the training, so we invited them along. We got our numbers and people managed to organise their work so they could attend, and Positive UK agreed to do the training in Aberdeen. As we worked closely with NHS Grampian, we were able to organise a training room at ARI. The training was incredible. It was sometimes quite intense because you were either talking about your own experiences or listening to the stories of others in the group. There was quite a bit of role playing the peer supporter or swapping roles and being the patient. At the end of each day, you felt quite drained, but it was satisfying. And when we finished the course, it was very rewarding. Now that we had done our training done, what next? We needed to get it out there that OPVG was peer support trained. After a bit of investigation, we realised that many people and organisations had completed the training, but not many third sector organisations were providing a service, and certainly not in NHS clinics. We decided to focus on what was right for us and the local area. As we'd always had an NHS nurse that specialised in sexual health and bloodborne viruses attend our Positive Voice meetings, it was easy to arrange to meet with doctors, clinicians at both Aberdeen Royal Infirmary and the Health Village to discuss our services and what we could offer. Referrals began coming in small numbers, and we began doing informal one-to-ones to help make a difference to individuals. We would either meet them in a coffee shop or book a room at the Health Village, depending on what was preferred by the individual. Some people only wanted one meeting, some wanted a few more. It was often someone newly diagnosed with questions or just needing someone to talk to and get some reassurance. While we were providing informal sessions, we worked behind the scenes to have this more formalised. One of the things we learned during our training was that the peer supporters would need support and supervision. So we met up with a psychologist from the Health Village and put in place an arrangement for regular updates with a psychologist to support and protect us. Referrals continued to come in from the Health Village, Aberdeen Royal Infirmary and a few other national organisations. We set ourselves up on the website Alice, which is for local systems support, and we did some PR mail drops around local GPs. In January 2020, we had a Near Me project facilitator attend our Positive Voice meeting and introduce us to the Near Me or Attend Anywhere, got two names, the platform, which is for doctors and clinicians to hold virtual consultations with patients who, for whatever reason, could not attend the clinic in person. Our Positive Voice was given our own logins and waiting rooms for us to use to provide support. This was fortuitous considering what was about to happen in the next couple of months. We had been discussing for several months about providing peer support in clinic at Frederick Street. And after we managed to get our PVG checks done, we finally arranged to have a peer supporter in clinic once a week to provide support for patients when they were in clinic. We were due to start in clinic on the 19th of March. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit and that was not possible. And on the 23rd of March, lockdown began. During the lockdown, there was very few referrals, but we were able to continue offering phone support or video support using the Attend Anywhere platform. When the Health Village at Frederick Street reopened for patients to see clinicians in clinic, we thought it was time to start offering peer support in clinic again. We started providing support from the 5th of November. However, due to the rules and for safety, we are using the Attend Anywhere video platform. So while patients are in clinic, their clinician or nurse will offer them support from us. And if they want it, they will be given an empty room for privacy and they'll be able to connect with one of our peer supporters during the hours of 9 AM to noon every Thursday. If that isn't suitable, then they can contact us and we will book an appointment for them at a more convenient time. During European Testing Week and World AIDS Day this year, we offered several open sessions every day. Although the number of people requesting support at the moment is small, we will do more publicity as we have just recently received a grassroots grant and some other funding. We are all volunteers that run our Positive Voice and provide the peer support, and we are all dedicated to supporting our community. Even if it just improves circumstances for one person, that's a job well done. That's the impact and how we run our services. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Colin. Sorry about your slides there. I just can't seem to find the other ones. That's my bad.
We can maybe get them put up after you've gone live.
Sure thing. Thank you so much for that. I am now going to hand over to BINTA, who I believe is here. If BINTA, you could put your camera on. No. And BINTA is here to talk about providing peer support services for African women. Okay, I'm not sure that BINTA can do that just now, so maybe we'll move on to Billy.
Hi, Heather.
Hello, BINTA.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm struggling with internet right now, but I finally get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to put your camera on, BINTA?
My camera isn't. Okay, let me put it on. Hi.
Okay. Hi. So, BINTA, if you would like to present to the group and tell them what it's like to be a peer supporter for African women in Glasgow.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm BINTA DITCHBURN. I will first of all start to tell you more about myself. I've been positive for 10 years. I first been diagnosed when I was pregnant with my son. That's the same year I came in Glasgow. But being pregnant and being positive is really it's a big struggle, especially with the African, because some of us, especially me, I've never disclosed my status with my family because of the stigma. But coming to this country, I was in Waverly Care. But there I started to be a peer mentor because I was all alone by myself, no family, no friends, families far away. But then I get into peer mentoring. When I get into peer mentoring, I get to know people same like me, people to talk to. But then supporting people, I get to forget my diagnosis. I got to forget everything. I get to support people who are more struggling than me. Peer mentoring is something that it makes me really confident because I get to learn a lot from other people. You talking to other people, they get to tell you what they are going through, and you to get to tell them what you're going through. Then at the end of the day, you become friends. You forget about your struggle, about your status. And then I start working with HWUPENYU in 2 years ago. There I get to get more women whom I peer mentoring. I support women like me. I get to support women in their homes, get to go out for coffee, get to talk to women. So talking to women just to build up their confidence, to tell them that, look, you are not alone in this fight. We are all together in this fight. It makes me stronger. It makes my peer mentoring, it makes my mentoring more stronger. It gives me more confidence. Me being women, working with African women in HWUPENYU as well. a lot of women struggle a lot because it's like the cultures are very, very different. You talking to women, you get to know you get to know them. They can be open up to you because it's all about you building that confidence with that person. It's very important. I get to be strict with my confidentiality because it's something which I don't take lightly. I take it really serious. If the women are really confident, if you speak to them, you get to know them more. You get to know them more, you get to build their confidence, you get to tell them, well, there is a lot of support where you can get support from. Because Qatar normally send me to mentor. Oh, sorry.
I don't know if we've maybe lost BINTA there.
Sorry about that. That's why I hate phones. Hello,
You're
can
fine.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry
Thank you,
about
BINTA.
that. Oh God. Yeah, as I was saying, we get to get more women coming to WELLBEING because of Qatar referred them to me. I get to support I got 2 new women I was really supporting who came in this country. No, they have nobody. They don't know nobody. They are new in here. Me mentoring them, me telling them what I'm going through, they get to open to me to tell me their stories. They don't know nobody here, how they come here, how they've been left alone. For me to get to know those women, it's like I'm really helping somebody out there. It's make me so stronger. It's make me proud. Me just talking to somebody, telling the person, you are not alone. There are a lot of support out there. They get to come to WELLBEING because of this coronavirus. We are not get to meet people face to face, but we do Zoom meeting where we can talk to women who really want to see us face to face because of COVID. So we can't do that. We get to talk on the phone a lot, get to talk to them, not to be depressed, they are not alone. So that's make life so much easy for me. It make me happy just to do those for people. So peer mentoring is something I don't joke with. It changed my life a lot. So then I want to change people's life as my life changed. Coming to this country, no, you don't know people. You get to get people, walk you through, mentor you, then you get to mentor other people. It's something which I would love to do for the rest of my life as far as I'm in this country. I want to do that more and more and more.
Thank you very much, BINTA. It's really great to hear that you enjoy being a peer supporter.
Oh, thank you, Heather.
We are now going to move on and have a chat with Billy Thomas, who is a peer supporter as well, and he works for the Peer Support Scotland project with THT.
The network is so low.
Are you there, Billy? I'm not sure. Let me see if I can get in touch with Billy. Hello, Billy. Are you able to talk?
Hello.
Hi, Billy.
I'm having to move on to my phone. Sorry about that. So I'm taking this.
Sorry.
I'm taking that off of my laptop in front of you. Sorry about that. I've never done this on a phone because I normally do this by obviously the laptop. Anyway, I'm Billy Thompson. I'm part of Peer Support Scotland within Terence Higgins Trust. What I do here is a fact of like, I'm here today basically as speaking to you as someone who actually gained something from being a member of Peer Support and actually being the recipient of people who have basically supported me. So I first got involved with peer support services due to the fact when I was first diagnosed with HIV, it was a case of I was really totally withdrawn. And from being withdrawn, all that, the people within the hospital and other clinics decided that maybe I would be helped by going forward, speaking to someone who would then say, how can we help you? How can we bring you forward? So it was through all that that we decided that I would then take part in a Lanarkshire men's group, which was once a month. And that once a month then grew and grew to the fact that at the beginning, I was really not wanting to join. But once I did join and got to know folk as time went on, I realised the importance of peer support. More so to the fact that it's like-minded folk being in the same room, being in a safe space, talking about the same things that's going on. Some had a journey before me, which basically they could basically advise and show me the pitfalls, where to go, what not to do, what to do. These sort of things then all came forward, which then made me look at whether the advancement of peer support. So from actually going to those meetings, and it was actually through one of the guys at Terence Higgins Trust who then brought me into the Terence Higgins Trust, is to see what I could do as a volunteer. So along I go, and then before time goes on, there was me, part of every group that was going, volunteering, doing everything possible, gaining my strength back, gaining basically a lot of the stuff that I had lost through my diagnosis and through to the fact that it was just a case of like, I had nowhere to turn, I had no like-minded people, but all of a sudden I had this whole room of people who were there, who were listening to me, who were advising me. So from that, the advancement I got was the strength to then go forward and basically be myself again to a certain extent. As time went on, then what's happened with me is the fact that due to the phenomenal work that's been done with THT, with myself, I then decided that there comes a point where I wanted to give back, and the giving back was a case of like being a peer mentor, to the degree that I feel if I can do it, you can do it. Simple as that. And it's that whole thing about like, when I look back now from the quiet wee guy that went into that room to the person that I am today, I basically got myself back, because being a late diagnosis and when I was diagnosed, it was that whole thing where I'd actually lost 3 years. That's 3 years I'll never get back. So I try my utmost on a daily basis nowadays to go from one extreme to the other, just in order to keep myself going, but to make sure everybody else is okay. And moving on from that to actually becoming a member of the THT Peer Support Scotland team, which now has me basically checking in on folk, making sure they're okay. What can we do for them? Running workshops, facilitating the support groups, everything that I could do possibly in order to make somebody's life feel better. That's what I'm doing at the best of my abilities. But I must admit, the strength I gained from the people round about me, watching them then move forward to the degree that they've got the same liking as me. If I can do it, you can do it. It's just as simple as that. But even through these difficult times that we've had with obviously COVID and stuff like that, like everybody else, we were furloughed at the beginning of the whole session, all that. But I was only furloughed for about like 7-8 weeks, and then they brought me back in order to help out Martin Hutchinson, who was leading the LTCM and Peer Support Scotland, but on his own. And from that, I then, through this COVID time, interacting with people, keeping in touch with people, keeping their spirits up, but more so the fact like we're delivering stuff. So I'm a connection between people, but I do love people. I do love the whole thing about like interacting with people, hearing their stories and finding out where I can help. I never want to leave them thinking that they've got no help or no hope. So hopefully I'm doing a good enough job in order to have these people celebrate what's going on in their lives, but also to see their journey. So it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to speak to you today, and I wish you all well with the rest of your seminar. Thanking you.
Thank you very much for that, Billy. Really appreciate having you here to speak to us about your experience and what it brought to you and how you're sharing it with other people. We are moving on now to our question and answer section. So all of our panelists are here to answer questions for you. So if you can all put your cameras on now so that people can see you. And there's no questions just now in the question and answer section, but I do have one question for BINTA, if you are still here. Oh, well, I can ask the question more generally to
Yes,
to the
I'm
room.
still here.
You're still here. How do you think there is enough support tailored to the Black minority ethnic community throughout Scotland, or do you think this is a unique opportunity in Glasgow?
I think there is enough support out there for people. I think that would be really great, or more training for more peer supporting.
And what about for other people in other areas? What do you think for the BME community? Do you think that there is enough support in your given areas?
No, there is not enough support for BME in Scotland, because the peer support I know BME we are not much. It's like we are like is it 4 or 5 people? Because we've already done the peer support training in Waverley, in Brownlee. So there it was only 3 minority, only 3 of us there. So I think we need, if they can get more support out there or more training to train people more to come out there, that'll be really helpful.
Thanks very much, BINTA.
Thanks.
We have another question from part of the Edinburgh Patient Forum, who's keen to get more information about being a support worker and any opportunities that are involved. Is any, Julie, that's maybe one for you to answer about opportunities to get involved with peer support training.
Yeah, absolutely. Our peers and our peer mentors go through like a common assessment. They get involved. You contact us, any one of us, myself, Martin or Callum, and we can take them through the assessment to get them onto the system basically, and then we will take them through, get them involved in the peer support groups. Obviously they're digitally at the moment, that means anyone from anywhere can be involved in it, which is great. What we look for in our peers is, if they've got something that they're quite passionate about, they can do. For instance, one of the peers lived in Thailand for quite a long time, so he had a lot of information on Thai language and Thai culture, so he delivered a session. So we support them to do that, to deliver sessions. So if it's, we've got someone else that's really good with the sort of the mobile phone cameras and that kind of thing, and they deliver sessions. So it's not all about getting other people in to deliver sessions. The peers themselves will deliver sessions as well. So get in touch with myself. I'll pop my email address again in the system there. So if they want to get in touch with me, we can, get organised and get that sorted. Lots of opportunities. You can see Billy, they often go out and do positive voice talks and things as well. So lots of opportunities to get involved.
Yes, if you want, Heather, I can add on to that for Julie, the fact that we have, the fact that we have the whole aspect of doing workshops and all that. This was something that happened by accident. The fact that they ended up like presenting workshops, actually facilitating them, was due to the fact that we just thought, let's do a show and tell. You must have a hobby, you must have something that you like and stuff like that. And that just grew that just grew. That's when Callum and Martin came in, and they decided we can then have people that actually are coming and using the services, actually presenting another way of pushing them forward within their journey and accepting what's going on and making them stronger.
Thanks very much for that, Billy. We've got another couple of questions come in. First, a question from Kevin to the panel to say, how has the COVID situation affected offering peer support services? And I suppose I could probably start with you, Colin, because I know that you're offering peer support services, and then Julie as well, if you have something to say on that.
Hi there. Yes. So when the pandemic first hit, we were going to be starting support in clinic, but obviously we weren't able to do that. Thankfully, we had received logins for Attend Anywhere, and we've been offering that throughout. And we've now set this up in clinic so that if patients are in clinic, they can be offered, they get the link and they can connect through to us. So yes, it's affected get peer support, but we are still providing it. The unfortunate thing I think at the moment is most people are not accessing services because they think it's still closed, or whatever reasons. We're not getting the volume that we would expect. So the service is there. It is on video or phone at the moment, or a phone call at the moment. But we are open for business.
Okay. Yeah, you know, obviously through COVID, life's been very, very different. There was only Martin left in post. Several of us were actually furloughed, which, you know, obviously was the best thing at the time. So we adapted the service quite considerably for our peers. There was definitely one-to-one support, you know, on the phone, speaking to them and doing them. Martin will speak in a later session about, you know, walk and talks and that kind of thing. But they delivered and adapted the service by doing things like delivering meds. They worked with the local health boards and picked up meds and delivered meds, especially in the Glasgow area where there is quite a, you know, a geographical landscape for people to actually access, likes of the Brownlee or whatever, so if they're getting them in. So meds and that were delivered. So they were able to have chats and things as well. We had the Connect in Scotland project, where, as I explained earlier, we had about 90 devices that we've given out to people that are living with HIV or Hep C, and they then we've taken them through some basic digital, you know, training to get them online to come and do Zoom calls with us. We're running a weekly group on the Zoom call at the moment. And then post-Christmas, we're going to do, as I say, a women's group and various other groups as well. And everything's kind of fragmented off. So quite a lot going on. It's not easy. It's not easy having a peer support group when you can't be with that person who's getting you upset on the phone. So it's not an easy ask at the moment.
I do think it's wonderful that you're still able to do as much as you are able to do in terms of peer support at such a difficult time, and how quickly the services have adapted, I think is really great, and does provide people with an opportunity to still access that service even though it is different and difficult. So thank you so much to you both. We have another question that's come in, which is, how can we ensure organisations understand the value of peer support and appropriately employ paid peer supporters rather than making positions voluntary? And I think I will have a little go at this question first, because I think it's something that's very fundamental to what we're doing. We are looking more and more to have a co-design approach where we are trying to also pay for our volunteers to be part of what we do in a way that suits them. So in terms of, some people would like to be paid in money, some people in vouchers, but in a way that suits people, and just to make sure that they are being valued for the input that they have. We have that across the board, not just peer support, with everybody we're trying to engage with, we're trying to change to engage differently so that we are valuing that expertise, valuing that lived experience. Because as I tried to say in the beginning, not successfully because I was tripping over my words, that lived experience is expertise that you can't really find anywhere else. The people know what is best for the people, and I think that really does need to be valued. I don't know if Billy, maybe you'd like to come in on this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with what you said there, Heather. The important thing about being a peer is actually having the voice and actually carrying through, because having a lived experience is a case like, yeah, 11 years on now, I know what's behind me and I can advise other folk going through. But again, I still learn from others. I came to the point now that part of going from a volunteer to actually being a sessional worker within THT, I do get paid for my hours as being a peer support and part of the Peer Support Scotland team. And like the rest of the gang says, it's a great team, but they say my voice is just important as their voice, because at the end of the day, we all bounce off of one another. We all learn from each other. And again, with anybody else coming through, you never want to undervalue anybody, because everything they've got to give and put forward, that value is immense, totally immense. And even though they may put it in words that other folk don't understand, it's what they're feeling at the time. And what they're feeling at the time is true and honest. So, yeah, it's a valuable thing to be appreciated as being a peer support. But if you're doing it as a job, and you're like, I'm doing it now as a job and have been, you know, for almost 2 years with this current project, it's so rewarding, more ways than one. But I've always said I would do this even if I didn't get paid. I love what I do, and I love the team and the organisation between it and everything that we do. It just goes from strength to strength.
Can I just pop in here as well, Heather, if that's okay? As I mentioned earlier, there's 3 living well specialists that sit under this project. We all have our different areas of expertise, and one of mine is volunteer coordination. And the reason that is that the volunteers, the peers come underneath that. And we're really fortunate to have likes of Billy, and we've got a couple of other sessional workers who were peers, who were volunteers, who are now gone on to be paid workers. That worked incredibly well, and still works incredibly well. Over in Ayrshire, we have a peer worker there who is very frontline, very in the face, and helping get people who are battling addictions into services, taking them to appointments and everything. So it's absolutely fantastic what the peers themselves can do, and it's really important, as Chris saying, how do you support them to actually get opportunities? Absolutely, it's there. And as a volunteer coordinator, that's my role, is to draw them through there and get them onto that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's us out of questions, so I think we're going to round up for the moment. I like to finish the sessions by giving each person the opportunity to tell the audience one takeaway that they'd like for people to take from this session. So I think, Billy, we'll start with you. What is your one takeaway for peer support?
My one takeaway for peer support is the fact that, like, everybody's words are valuable and everybody's got a story. It's learning to put it into action and bringing it forward. That's all you need to step forward and gain in life, is just keep going and be stronger.
That was a very, very good piece of, like, a good takeaway. Colin, what is your one takeaway?
I'm just so glad that in today's world, we're able to talk about HIV so openly and freely. From the days when I was diagnosed, you couldn't. So to be able to offer peer support, and for people to be able to talk about it and not face the stigma that we used to. There is still stigma, and we've still got a way to go. But I think it's a great way to be able to communicate with people, to have this conversation about HIV.
Thank you very much, Colin. Lastly, to you, Julie, what is your takeaway?
Just as a project, we're here for anyone and everyone that's living with HIV or hepatitis C. If we can help at all and spread that, that sense of purpose and the sense of value that each and every person deserves to have, a value in themselves and strengthen them, then we're absolutely here for them. Just get in touch. That goes for organisations as well, referring clients in, or organisations that want to work with us in partnership, health and wellbeing, that kind of thing. But here, we're always open to offers and help. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much to all of our lovely panelists here. You have brought so much information that is great to hear, and the power of peer support is truly alive and well in the HIV sector. We just need to keep growing and make sure that we're doing it to the best of our ability. And thank you as well to all of our attendees today. Hopefully you've had some great takeaways of your own, and we'll see you again for future sessions. Thank you very much. Bye.
Right, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Binta.
Bye.